Hello, my name is Vonda Turner. Today I'll be talking to you about the Japanese culture. I have always been interested in Japanese culture due to how tranquil, respectful, and organized the culture appears to be. I'll be covering collectivism, silence, and cooperative cultural values in Japan. Now, what are the cultural um, norms in Japan? Japanese society is extremely homogeneous. The family is the basic unit of society, and respect for elders is of great importance. The group is regarded as more important than an individual, and the social hierarchy is strictly observed, with respect and deference shown to older and more senior people according to angloinfo.com. Now, let's talk about collectivistic culture. How do we define it? Collectivistic culture is the feeling of loyalty and obligation to one's extended family, community, or even the organization one works for, based on Adler and Dupre in the 13th edition of Understanding Human Communication. Collectivism in the Japanese culture is an extraordinary feeling for collective behavior which has its origins in the family. The Japanese family raises the most serious questions about one's role in society, according to Paul Valery in the Japanese Culture, Volume 4. An example um, would be a single Japanese Olympian winning a gold medal would be in honor of their country and family rather than their own individual achievement. Now, another cultural value is silence. In the Japanese culture, silence doesn't have one particular definition, but for the Japanese culture, silence is valued and honored. Silence has many purposes and forms of expression, and some of them are agreement and disagreement, surprise, defiance, and femininity, if I'm saying that correctly. An example would be if a superior or an elder is talking to a subordinate or adolescent. The subordinate or adolescent would avoid making eye contact and either nod or, well, nod in agreement or disagreement. Typically, it would be in agreement, though. Lastly, let's talk about cooperative values. According to the Japanese scholar Edwin O. Reicher, and I quote, the cooperative relative, relativistic Japanese is not thought of as the bland product of social conditioning that has worn off indiv- indiv- individualistic corners, but rather as the product of firm inner self control that has made him the master of his antisocial instincts. Social conformity is no sign of weakness, but rather the proud tempered product of strength. A textbook example of human, from the textbook Human Communication on Cooperative Culture is how just give me one moment. It's how leaders in Asia, in the Asian culture, um, such as Japan, tend to focus on the achievements of the organization rather than the unique qualities of an individual. In conclusion, you should now have a basic level of understanding for these three cultural Japanese values, and there are many other cultural values that play a major role in Japanese culture as we see it today. As you see, I have someone in back who is paying attention and one other person.
Hello.
And that concludes my uh, cultural speech on Japan. Thank you.